We are now halfway through the season, and I can confidently say this has been the craziest year I've ever seen. What's going on, guys? Back to it with Week 10 picks, and like I mentioned, we are halfway through the season, and we have people starting to separate themselves from the rest of the group. Alright, let's jump into these games. Alright, our Thursday night game is going to be Atlanta taking on Carolina. For Atlanta, they have got to keep pace with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With their loss and the Bucs win last week, the Bucs have the tiebreaker over the Falcons. Meanwhile, with Carolina, it's just going to be a long season for them, and we're going to see if they can pull off some surprises. But for this game, I'm going to go with the Falcons. Seattle taking on Tampa Bay. First NFL game in Germany. This ought to be a fun one to watch. For Tampa Bay, Tom Brady just does what he does best. That last-minute drive was nothing short of spectacular. It was really good to watch, unless you were a Rams fan. Meanwhile, for Seattle, they just continue having a season that nobody saw coming. They are winning the NFC West right now. This one's a tough one, but I'm going to go with Seattle. I think they're going to pull off the win in Germany. Minnesota taking on Buffalo. Now this game, it has a lot to do with Josh Allen's health. Josh Allen got hurt last week. He hurt his elbow. Did not practice today. We have no idea if he's going to be ready to play come game time. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, they only have one loss on the year. That was to the Eagles. And while they haven't been perfect, they've been getting wins. That's what's important. If Josh Allen plays, I'm going to go with Buffalo. If he doesn't play, I'm going to go with Minnesota. Detroit taking on Chicago. Both of these teams coming off some pretty impressive performances. Now, Chicago was not able to pick up the win against Miami, but Justin Fields just played out of his mind. He is getting better as the season goes on. Meanwhile, for Detroit, able to stop Aaron Rodgers and that Packers offense, had 3 interceptions in the red zone. You don't see that too often. I'm going to go with Chicago over Detroit, but this might be an interesting game to watch. Jacksonville taking on Kansas City. Jacksonville picked up the win last week against the Raiders. Meanwhile, Kansas City picked up the win against the Titans. Had to come from behind, play in overtime. Patrick Mahomes is just really good at bringing this team back. There's nothing more that you can say about that. I'm going to go with KC over Jacksonville. Cleveland taking on Miami. Cleveland's coming off a bye. The Dolphins are coming off what was surprisingly a shootout between them and the Bears last week. Tua Tagovailoa, he is continuing the great season that he has started. Meanwhile, for Cleveland, it's not been going according to plan for them. I'm going to go with Miami over the Browns. Houston taking on the Giants. Houston right now has the first overall pick, might be finishing with the first overall pick. Giants coming off a bye, and they are fighting. They are in contention for a playoff spot. Nobody saw this coming. I'm going to go with the Giants over Houston. New Orleans taking on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh coming off a bye. Hopefully Kenny Pickett can start to show some signs of growth. New Orleans coming off a tough loss on Monday night to the Ravens, and they don't have their bye for another few weeks, and they are banged up right now. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh over New Orleans. Denver taking on Kansas City. Denver, offense is struggling. Russell Wilson looking nothing like he has in the past. Just traded away Bradley Chubb. It has not gone good for the Broncos. The Titans coming off a tough loss against the Chiefs where they had the lead, but Patrick Mahomes just did what Patrick Mahomes does. I'm going to go with the Titans over the Broncos. Indianapolis taking on the Raiders. Indianapolis just fired Frank Reich and named Jeff Saturday their interim head coach. A guy that has no coaching experience in the NFL, and the only coaching that he has done is from the high school level. Okay, it sounds like they're tanking. Meanwhile, for the Raiders, yeah, what more can you say? Josh McDaniels just is not working out. I'd be surprised if he lasts another 3 weeks. As far as this game, it's a tough one, but I'm just going to go with the team with the better quarterback. Give me the Raiders. Dallas taking on Green Bay. For Green Bay, what more can we say about this offense? Aaron Rodgers just isn't looking like Aaron Rodgers. Just does not have the connection with his receivers. It's been off all year, and I don't know if they can turn it around. Meanwhile, for Dallas, they are just continuing the season that they're having. They've been doing a wonderful job this year. I'm going to go with them over the Packers. Arizona taking on the Rams. Both of these teams, they are just having disappointing seasons. For the Rams, coming off a Super Bowl victory, this is nothing like we thought they were going to play like. Meanwhile, for Arizona, I wonder how much longer Kingsbury is going to survive there. If they keep playing like this, he might not make it the end of the year. I'm just going to go with the home team on this one. I'm going with the Rams. Chargers taking on San Francisco. For the Chargers, they've been banged up at receiver. Both Keenan Allen and Mike Williams missed multiple weeks this year, and they are totaling around at 500. We thought they'd be in contention for a playoff spot. That has not happened. They still can turn it around, but they have to do it quickly. San Francisco, they are in contention for a playoff spot, and I'm going to go with them over the Chargers. In a Monday night game, Washington taking on Philadelphia. For Washington, what more can we say? I don't know what more I can say about the Commanders. And now it looks like Daniel Snyder is looking to sell the team. Finally. We've been waiting for that forever. And Philadelphia is still the only undefeated team remaining, but this has trap game written all over it. They have got to be careful. I'm going to pick them, but again, this has trap game written all over it. Alright guys, those were my picks for Week 10. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.